Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for 17 News at Noon. I'm Nicole Gitsky. We'll begin with Joe Biden's announcement that he's tapped California Senator Kamala Harris as his running mate. Biden's decision injecting new excitement into the campaign. Later today, we expect to see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris make their first joint appearance since he chose her for the ticket. Biden's choice, historic, the first black woman on a major party's presidential ticket. Here's NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
Kamala Harris campaigning for Joe Biden once she dropped out of the race for president, now his running mate. In true 2020 fashion in the pandemic, Biden informing Harris by video chat that he had chosen her for the ticket, a selection marking the first woman of color running for vice president for a major party, as well as launching the next generation's Democratic leader. Harris, at 55, is more than 2 decades younger than Biden, who is 77. As a black woman, Harris is also part of a key voting bloc for the Democratic Party, with black leaders and party activists urging the campaign to choose a woman of color. A rising star in the Democratic Party, elected California's Attorney General in 2011, Harris facing criticism this year for some of her decisions in that job, such as opposing statewide requirements to investigate police shootings.
You used to oppose outside investigations of police shootings, now you don't. But when you had the power, why didn't you try to affect change then?
Was I able to get enough done? Absolutely not. But my plan has been described by activists as being a bold and comprehensive plan that is about ending mass incarceration, about taking the profit out of the criminal justice system.
Elected to the Senate, she impressed the Biden campaign with her tough questioning of Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
My question is, have you had a conversation with anyone at that firm about that investigation? It's a really specific question.
I would like to know the person you're thinking of, because what if there's...
I think you're thinking of someone and you don't want to tell us.
President Trump seizing on that to attack her.
I thought she was the meanest, the most horrible, most disrespectful of anybody in the U.S. Senate.
Harris had her own presidential ambitions, launching her campaign with great fanfare last year.
We can reclaim the American dream for every single person in our country.
Famously clashing with Biden during the first Democratic debate over his record on race.
You also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
But her campaign ran out of steam, with Harris dropping out before the first primaries and later endorsing Biden.
I believe in Joe.
And Biden has said he doesn't hold grudges, emailing supporters that she is smart, tough, and ready to lead. Former President Obama weighing in, saying Biden nailed this decision and calling Harris more than prepared for the job.
Democratic Representative T.J. Cox is weighing in on the announcement. He says, quote, "Today my friend, colleague, and fellow Californian Kamala Harris makes history. I'm so proud such an accomplished woman who represents and embodies the beautiful diversity of America will have a direct hand in restoring the principles, dignity, and common sense of our nation this November." And civil rights activist Dolores Huerta says, quote, "I applaud former Vice President Joe Biden for his historic and wonderful decision in choosing Senator Kamala Harris to be the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic ticket. I urge all voters to work their hearts out to elect the Biden-Harris ticket." Now to the latest on the coronavirus here in Kern County. Public Health reports another 184 cases today. More than 25,000 people have tested positive for the virus since March. More than 2/3 of those cases are considered active. 261 people are in the hospital and receiving treatment. That's 11 more than was reported yesterday. 183 people have lost their life since the pandemic began. Nearly half of those deaths were from July. And Public Health is also providing support to those fighting COVID-19. There was an online section on their website that includes a self-report form, tips to manage your symptoms, and more information on how contact tracing works. You can find more information on our website, kget.com. Just click on the hot link icon. Well, a new poll finds fear of the coronavirus is keeping parents from getting their children's routine vaccines. The national survey by Orlando Health shows 84% of parents think vaccines are the best way to prevent infectious disease, but 2/3 are still nervous to take their kids to the pediatrician's office to get those vaccines because of the coronavirus concerns. Experts say it's imperative that parents keep their children healthy. That includes going in for routine checkups and getting all recommended vaccines. Well, the pandemic is having another side effect. Kids are not getting vaccinated. For some, the school year started today, and whether it is virtual or in person, students will need to be prepared with the latest vaccinations. Now, this morning on Sunrise, Michelle Corson, the public relations officer for Kern County Public Health, joined us to explain students must be up to date with their vaccines.
Vaccinations are required for admittance to school, whether that's virtual or in person. And more importantly, vaccinations are more important than ever during this pandemic. But yeah, we want our parents to know the law remains the same and those vaccines are definitely still required.
Corson says the state and the CDC have seen a deferral of vaccines throughout the pandemic, affecting more than 1 in every 6 children. According to Corson, some schools will not let your child pick up any items unless they have an updated vaccination card.
Protect us, and we want to keep to that 95% so our herd immunity remains strong. And again, we have vaccines for a lot of these diseases. We don't have a vaccine yet for COVID-19. So let's take advantage of our health care and the vaccines that are available to protect our children, especially now during a pandemic.
Kern County Public Health is offering a vaccination clinic that runs until this Friday. You will need to call ahead to schedule an appointment. That number is 321-3000. Well, while a majority of districts have pushed back their start date to accommodate more virtual training, the Greenfield Union School District and Plantation Elementary School begins their school year as scheduled today. Teachers arrived this morning for the first time in months to empty classrooms as the more than 600 students attended their classes virtually. It has been a learning curve for both students and faculty as they adjust to this new normal. Now, this morning we were at Plantation Elementary School and joined by teacher Sally Mitchell. She says this year has been a strict learning curve for everyone.
Most of us will be at our desks with our cameras in a Zoom meeting with our kids. And we will be meeting with them 4 times during the day and covering our language blocks and our literacy and math and community building and intervention. So it's going to look way different.
If you're finding out that your energy bill is going up as you work from home and distance learning starts, you're not alone. PG&E is offering up some tips on how to save energy and as a result, keep your bill a little lower. First, make sure to unplug electronic devices when you're not using them. Turning the brightness down on televisions can also help save some energy. If you have your air conditioning running, you can save by turning the temperature up and using fans. This will keep the house cool and will cut down on AC costs. Also keep fridges and freezers closed as much as you can. Leaving the door open for too long uses up a lot of energy. PG&E also is offering a few different energy saving programs on its website. These range from home assessments of energy use to rebates on old appliances. You can find more information about those programs on PG&E website. Sad news from the front lines of the Stagecoach Fire. A firefighter assigned to the blaze has died. Pete Hine was a retired CAL FIRE captain from San Bernardino. Fire officials say he suffered a medical emergency and died due to complications. Kern County Fire adds the firefighter was not an employee of the department. Hine has worked as a volunteer at Big Pine Fire Department and worked with the U.S. Forest Service for 15 years.
We as a fire family will stay strong in spirit, celebrate the life of Captain Hine, and honor his service. A peer support team has been activated and resources will be made available to all personnel.
The tragedy comes as crews continue to gain ground on the fire burning south of Lake Isabella. It started 9 days ago and now containment is up to 91%. The fire has grown to more than 7,700 acres. 20 homes have been destroyed along with 18 other structures, plus 5 other buildings have been damaged. The Kern County Fire Department says evacuations were lifted this weekend in several areas. Now you can find the latest information on our website, kget.com. And the California Public Utilities Commission held a virtual public briefing to discuss public safety power shutoffs this year. The commission says shutoffs are a last resort for electric utilities to lower the risk of wildfire. The first meeting for San Diego Gas and Electric happened on Monday. Yesterday, Southern California Edison held its meeting, and tomorrow PG&E will have its hearing at 10 a.m. There will be 30 minutes for public comment at each briefing. And that is such an important reminder. We are in the midst of wildfire season, and it is hot and dry out there. Let's send things over to Kevin.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that heat that's coming up for the weekend. In the short term here, we're still talking about Alita. This was a hurricane, now a tropical storm. It is starting to lose a little bit of strength here. And the reason why, as a Category 1, it was in the warmer waters of the Pacific. Now it's crossing over and heading into those cooler waters. And whenever that happens, we start to see these storms kind of die out. Winds right now gusting about 75 miles per hour. Not going to affect any landfall, but the moisture from it could start to impact us a little bit. Outside, we've got clear skies and 91 degrees under a calm wind right now. As we take a look at the numbers, upper 80s, lower 90s right now. And then up in the mountains, Tehachapi at 88. We've got 90 out of Lake Isabella, 99 for Ridgecrest. Little cloud cover along the coastal areas. That's it for right now. As we take a look at the numbers for today, 99 in Sacramento, Fresno should be right near 103, 107 in Vegas, and then San Diego and Los Angeles lower to mid 70s throughout the afternoon. So here's what's happening. We've got a trough out of the north. That is going to help us tomorrow. It's going to cool us down into the upper 90s, but then ridging will build back in from the east, move west, and that will really amplify our temperatures for the weekend. And we're also going to be grabbing some of this subtropical moisture out of the southeast tomorrow, so we can't rule out a chance of a thunderstorm around Kern County. Now, the latest projections on these thunderstorms right now, keeping it north of Kern County and up near Lone Pine and up near Mammoth Lakes. But again, we're going to watch this carefully because it can change really quick. Now, the one thing we are for sure of is the heat, and that's coming for the weekend. And that's why we have issued an excessive heat watch. That's in place until 9 p.m. on Monday. And here's a look at the headlines. So today is day 4 of heat wave number 6. Kern County could see isolated thunderstorm tomorrow. We're watching that carefully. And then we talked about that extreme heat Friday through at least Sunday, and I can't remind you enough, stay out of the Kern River. Now let's take a look at the air quality. Unhealthy for sensitive groups today. Your AQI at 101, and today we should be right near 103, 102, 103 in Bakersfield, 101 in Delano, 99 in Taft for the mountains and the Kern River Valley. Today we'll look for sunny skies, of course, 90 in Frazier Park. We're looking at 91 in Tehachapi, upper 90s for the Kern River Valley, and then for the desert, 105 out of Ridgecrest. Now the extended forecast looks like this, and as you focus for the weekend, we're looking at 105 on Friday, 107 on Saturday. Very little relief until the early part of next week for the mountains. 88 tomorrow. Then we're back into the mid-90s for the weekend. And then for the Kern River Valley, we'll look for 101 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right near 103. So get ready. The heat is on. We'll be right back.
Well, Xbox Series X will be here in time for the holidays. Microsoft's gaming arm announced the next generation console will be out in November, but fans will have to wait a bit longer for Halo Infinite. The shooting game has been delayed to 2021 because of challenges, including COVID. The Halo franchise has been synonymous with the Xbox brand, and this new game could have an effect on sales. Well, Halloween candy is hitting store shelves early this year. With the uncertainty surrounding trick-or-treating due to the coronavirus pandemic, several of the big candy makers are hedging their bets. Hershey's is rolling out Halloween-themed candy earlier than usual, and some grocery chains are moving up their displays. But Hershey is also scaling back the amount of holiday-specific offerings. The company says variety packs of fun-size candy bars, usually Halloween's best sellers, have sold very well during the pandemic.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Noon.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.